Welcome everybody. This is going to be pretty much a test run for BFGC analysis post game, obviously. And we're basically what we're doing here is we're going to look over matches that have been played and try to get them out to people about what they should be doing or how to improve their gameplay.
Yeah, primarily this is for the. We want to try and get players whose skill level is relatively close to each other, so we know it'll be at least a close match. And then for this one, for example, I know both of these guys. One's from Rochester, one's from Buffalo. They don't have the other matchup experience for the other character, so we wanted to both see how they approach it, and see what they already know and what they don't know. Maybe we can give some insight on those issues.
Yeah, pretty much just debunk how they already approached it, and then from there, add things that they can do to the matchup, and then also just things that they either should know, or even if they do know it, how they could apply it in those areas.
Right.
So from there, we're just pretty much going to go right into it.
First player Guzman and second player Shadowpayoso from Rochester.
Yep. Guzman from Buffalo, obviously. So, like Alex said earlier, we picked this matchup because neither one of these guys have really played each other ever. So, their matchup knowledge is going to be pretty fresh, so to speak.
Exactly. First off, Guzman picks a V-Trigger 2, which might be risky against Vega because Vega can easily re-reverse out of it and perhaps get a punish if he does it early enough, because the V-Trigger animation has quite a bit of recovery.
Yeah, and the way that, V-reversals like Vegas are is that they're just moving out of it. They're not really doing an attack or anything like that, so he has no risk of blocking it. He has the risk of getting punished for it.
He caught him pressing a blind there. That's why he got the V-skill.
Alright, so obviously there Shadowpayoso was going to figure out that the pressure there was not real. He was walking forward a lot in what he was doing.
It's kind of just throwing stuff out there to see if he's going to poke into it, perhaps get a counter poke.
I'm not really sure what Guzman was going for, honestly, there with the use of the up kicks from Ed there. I like that anti-air, though. It's obviously he probably would have just been safer continuing blocking as he was already.
He was testing. That was the first jump he did the whole set, actually.
Yeah.
And Ed doesn't have the most straightforward anti-airs, as in they're not very fast, but you have to be ready. See, there you go. If he did the single flip one, he might have gotten punished off of that. That's the main grab. He gets Oki, but he doesn't choose to capitalize on it. He gets a throw instead. So, a few things that match was Shadowpayoso. He was trying to test Guzman's thought process, and you can see that by how he jumped very early and just did that light kick. And Guzman also just took it. He didn't want to deal with the mix-up right after it.
Yeah, and then also you could see how after he did the Barcelona, the first time, the EX Barcelona, and Guzman didn't punish it, didn't block it, nothing happened there. Shadowpayoso was just like, oh, I can do it again for free, and I didn't really feel any threatened by it at all. So it kind of just threw it out there. Obviously, Guzman did the good thing by punishing it the second time, but I mean, we only have yet to see what he would do because of that.
Saw that he was trying to bait a throw with the roundhouse there on Guzman's part, and then it was sort of a late reaction, I guess. Right here, he sees that he whips the roundhouse right in his face to try to catch a throw bait, and then he tried to react, and then he got jabbed out of it. But Guzman wasn't having any of that and just started mashing crouch strong.
Yeah.
To catch him out of his pressure. Another instance of a jump. It's Shadowpayoso pretty much established that Guzman isn't reacting with anti-airs, so we're probably going to see a lot more jumps on his part
until Guzman does something about stopping him in any way.
There's that same sequence again, testing Guzman's reactions. What do you think about that?
I mean, he stopped it.
He stopped it, yeah, but That's probably not the right response.
That is really, it's not the right response, because what that is that's a one-time deal. That's something that you really can only do once, because now at this point, Shadowpayoso is probably looking for it, and if he does it again, he's gonna eat a lot of damage because of it. So you have to establish a more consistent response to something, either movement based or like actually like stuffing something out, other than like using an invincible reversal like that. You know what I mean?
It's also very slow.
That too. So like it's really easy to bait. You know what I mean? So it works, yeah, but that's only a one-time deal. You only cash that in once.
So here, Shadowpayoso gets hit by or blocks the charge fierce. Where is it?
I think you went too far back, way too far back.
What's the hotkey for it?
It's
3
shift.
seconds. Oh, shift. Okay.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Now we lost our place. Good thing it's a test run, guys.
Okay.
Whatever.
Moving
on to the next round. Forget what we just said.
Okay. He finally started anti-airing with the proper response. And now we're gonna see if Shadowpayoso decides to keep jumping again. The first slide he's done. Choose not to be a reversal there.
I think honestly, like
same situation. Last time he walked back on that +2. This time he just whipped the throw in front of his face. I don't know what he was expecting there. I wanted Guzman to do perhaps like a frame trap to catch him from walking back.
I think so. Okay, so Guzman was the one who walked backwards after the +2, or was it Shadowpayoso?
Previously, Shadowpayoso
walked back,
just held back.
Okay, just held back the +2. Okay, and then he, honestly, it would have been really good. I agree with you. Like, you do a frame trap, or like, because like if you see them walking backwards, you can anticipate that they're probably going to do it again. So obviously, if they're walking, the biggest issue when walking is getting hit low. So like he has that crouch forward to do it. He has that sweep. He even has like crouch short, which honestly doesn't lead into much, but you still are able to present the threat of like you can't walk backwards like that. You can't get out of this space that easily. And I think that would have been a good way to pretty much like stop Shadowpayoso from even pressing a button, really, because like that catches him walking backwards, and that also catches the next button he presses if you do it properly.
Next time, what I would like to see is that low forward you were speaking of, and on top of that, Ed's low forward is very hit confirmable. So even if it's blocked, you're not gonna worry about it. You can either do the fireball, or if it hits, you just do the upper.
Yeah, or even so, you can even like be really safe about it, and you can just autopilot to the flicker. I mean, mind you, it's not the most efficient thing for you to do, but you still have that option.
That is one thing that Jose doesn't do. He doesn't do flicker at all. I'm not sure if that's like an execution thing or he just hasn't like.
I think it's an execution thing, honestly. I remember him talking to me about him dropping it a lot of times before, but I mean, you got to get it. You know what I mean? It's really helpful for a lot of things.
It's not punishable at almost every range, and it's extremely hit confirmable. It's super, so it's something you should definitely think about putting into your gameplay as an Ed player.
Absolutely.
He's been responding with the against the Sam Rounds from Vega with Crouch Strong a lot. That's hit with the meaty there. Probably tried to wake up short.
He definitely tried to react to the jump in there with anything. I believe it was probably Crouch Fierce, but it didn't work out, and obviously he got counter hit and killed for it.
The thing about Vega is that his jumps are very, very fast. And on top of that, his jump buttons are also very good. So that might be a problem for Ed because his anti-airs are typically slower than most. And his fast anti-airs aren't as good.
Yeah, like just thinking about what he could have done there, there pretty much wasn't anything. Honestly, in that situation, he probably just has to eat the hit and then just go with it as it is.
Okay, so pretty much the same game plan that Jeremiah had in the first game. He's just trying to like fish for counter pokes in neutral and just approaches in general. That's minus, yep. That was a sick confirm, okay. That's more what we were talking about here.
Yeah.
And crouch medium kick, very hit confirmable.
And now he has a knockdown here, and Jeremiah just not respecting it because, honestly, that's the first time he's gotten that knockdown. Guzman has not given him an opportunity to learn to respect it. That was
kind of sick. That's one way to deal with those very early jump-ins, I guess. Wow. Okay, so we finally see what he was fishing for, and it worked out.
just trying to catch one of those long range buttons like the crouch forward and just hit it at the max range possible.
Guzman definitely has those hit confirms. He just has to start looking for them outside of just whiff punishes.
Yeah, exactly.
Confirms into super.
Honestly, spending the meter in this situation isn't that bad because he's up around, and oh my goodness, that jump in was I don't know. I feel like that jump in was lucky.
So good on Jeremiah because throws now after dash is either at best even.
Mm-hmm.
So he wakes up with a 3 frame short to catch him out. Good on his part.
Yeah. Because honestly, just like recognizing that throw loops don't exist anymore for most characters, you can pretty much just take that and just press your button.
So here we saw just anti-airs in general, just snuff like these formerly get in for free moves.
Mm-hmm.
One of them being EX Barcelona, and the other like being Devil's Reverse. And that sealed the round.
And yeah, and now like Guzman is pretty much presented at this point that, you know, I'm not going to let you either A, jump in on me for free, or I'm not going to let you do these moves like we just stated for free, and pretty much just snuff him out of it. And after that, I mean, you got the throw and you took it to him. So it's not at this point, it's on Jeremiah to take like these high pressure situations or low health situations rather, and pretty much figure out how he wants to approach then. That was nice.
That was very good match.
That was really good.
There you go. He's been getting that consistently. He just has to figure out how to stop him from walking back.
All right, so Guzman had a good frame trap there, but he confirmed into crouch strong instead of crouch forward, even though he got the stand strong hit, and it just kind of like net him. It lost him a lot of momentum. Honestly, he probably wouldn't be in this situation right now if he just confirmed it to the proper combo.
Feel free to pause. Feel free to pause if you want to.
I'm good.
Yeah. That's that early jump short again, working out in his favor, and Guzman did not like that at all. So he did EX DPs. So yeah, he's trying to close it out with fireballs and whatnot, but gets unlucky and has one jumped over.
Oh man, that throw whiff could have been so bad right there.
Okay.
It's very obvious that Jeremiah messed up what he was going for.
I wonder what he's trying to do.
I honestly wonder as well, but that's you can only chalk that up to an execution error. There's no way to tell what he was going for us at least.
So every time he's jumped in at that range, he's gotten the most optimal anti-air.
Shit. Yeah.
But right here, this is about like half screen away. He's always looking for it. You can see that by the way he crouches, and he just gets the free DP anti-air. And
not even just like how the way he crouches. Actually, let me back up a little bit. So like, look at how like he kind of jukes backwards a little bit when he sees him walking forward. Like that is entirely him looking for it because he knows that he's going to jump at that range. He's pretty much just found the range that he wants to jump at, and it's just like, I'm going to stay here because you don't want to pass this line.
He's been jumping at the same ranges still. Something I told Jeremiah maybe a few months ago was that he plays a little too optimal in the sense that where's the jump? There. He's always jumping at where the air normal will tip, right? As a Vega player, you want to like vary your jump ranges because his jump buttons are so good. So the fact that he's jumping at the same range all the time is why he's getting consistently anti-air, aside from this. So like maybe jump on top of him or even further out with an empty jump. So perhaps the anti-air will whiff. You can even, kind of like shake it up on your opponent, and like if you react to a dash in with a neutral jump, and because a lot of people, honestly, it depends on the player, but a lot of people will commit to something post dash, and you can probably even get a jump in there. But that's completely for you to determine from the player. Little character unfamiliarity there. Yeah. On the whiff super. That fireball seems like it's like +1. At that range, I feel like it was. It was either plus. It honestly is within the range of like -1 to +1. Good hit confirmed. Yeah, he got caught flinching. Honestly, that the forward strong, the Psycho Spark from Ed,
whiffing in people's faces. Sometimes you can get caught flinching because you're expecting to block it at that range, but it's just it. Sometimes you either have to just hold what happens next or commit early to pressing the button. And obviously, Shadowpayoso chose wrong in that situation.
Yeah.
And he's still jumping at that same range. It's just that Guzman didn't punish it there.
Which I confirm. He's been going to that meaty forward medium punch a lot. I wish we could see him do something a little bit more disrespectful.
And not even like just to show like once again, jumping at the exact same range once again, and then even like back up like a few seconds. You can just see the exact same thing happening from both players. Like Guzman backing up just a little bit just to get into that range, and then Shadowpayoso jumping forward, getting punished for just what he was doing. Didn't get crouch fierce there.
He definitely could have answered that if he was looking out for it. Crouch fierce.
All right. So now we got to confirm knockdown.
The thing about that V reversal is that it only has one frame where it's punishable, where you can't do anything. Yeah, but more often than not, you probably should just let him do it and not try to punish it, because most of the time you're just gonna get counter hit.
Yeah, that's yep. And going super. Okay, this I don't know how I feel honestly, because like you're down around, and that meter could help a lot in just getting the build up. Okay, that was obviously a situation where you should have like tried pressing a button. Oh man, throws him out of the corner. That's not good.
Yeah. Answer, yeah. That's. I guess he made use of it, but
yeah,
that was not very. Ooh, counter combo. Another thing about super usage in this game is you typically want to super them when they're very close to their V trigger, or when they already have V trigger, because that's damage is guaranteed damage, and it's damage that they're not building their V trigger bar for.
Yeah, that too. So like they can't spend it on the V reverse or anything like that. You're essentially cutting them off from like a whole V bar if you do it properly. So like taking the situation, characters with 2-bar V triggers like Vega, for example, if he plays the round properly or gets hit the right way, I guess, then he nets 2 V triggers. If you capitalize on like, oh hey, he's close to V trigger or he has it already, let me burn this super. Now that whole like bar section is gone, and he only has access to the one more V reversal, and you just kind of like cut off the number of options that he has later on in the round.
That was a better jump, I think, because that was a lot closer than what he was normally doing, getting answered with. How did he's kind of flailing? I'm not sure.
I think he really just wants to get a hit right now.
That was a big punish for a slide.
Kind of that. Honestly, like the step backwards that Guzman took there is the reason why he missed that anti-air, and it's really unfortunate. Wow.
Nice. Okay.
And now Shadowpayoso is.
He just didn't want to block at all.
No, it was pretty obvious at that point. He was scared, and he really just didn't want to be in the corner anymore. But I mean, he was stuck there. There was nothing else that he could do except pretty much like just block. Honestly, he just had to block, take the situation, and get out.
Not sure how long they're playing, but I guess we can keep analyzing it. How long did they play to?
Just 19 minutes. So
First to 5?
I guess so.
Oh, wow, okay.
I mean, I usually talk for like an hour and a half whenever I analyze stuff, so 30 minutes isn't that bad to me.
Let's do this last game and then we're done. Okay. He's been going to that slide a lot. I don't know why in particular he's doing that.
I really... It's less so in the sense of like, okay, so let's take a person who uses slide from a different character super well, right? Let's take Jug, for example, right? And the way that he slides. So like, say they're in a situation like this, where they're walking back and forth, right? Right? So like, as soon as Jug sees the other person like committing to walking, that's when he slides. But if they're doing what Guzman just did and just sat there, he doesn't do it at all. And I don't think Jeremiah is really looking out for that. He's just kind of like, I'm at this range. it doesn't look like they're doing something, so I'm going to go for the slide. You know what I mean? Otherwise, like once you see that like I said before, when a person is walking, that is a commitment that something low will not hit them. That's why like a slide is good in situations like that. You just have to be like understanding of like they're walking, they're committing to walking. Now I can hit them, and that was a really good answer here.
Yes, it was. Yes, okay. I want to see Jeremiah use V reversal on the V trigger activations.
I want to see Jeremiah block.
Yeah, that's not a block. He's not using it at all. Maybe he knows about the.
I want to see Jeremiah walk actually.
There it is. He needs to do the single flip. Wow, I can't believe that.
What a luck.
That's a weird range for Vega to deal with on that jump. He doesn't really have any like straight up anti-airs.
Yeah. And again, just jumping. At this point, it's not even like he's jumping at the wrong ranges. He's just jumping too much, and at the wrong ranges. Okay.
There's that flicker. Okay. So he does have them. One of that fat meaning.
Yeah. All right, so now this is one of those like high pressure situations that I was talking about from Jeremiah, and as soon as I start talking about it, that's when he does the Barcelona, and lucky for him, it hits, and then command grab, and that's the end. So without even like going into like the rest of the set, I don't imagine that the tendencies change much. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm just gonna like look at like one last round, honestly, because honestly, I think they're probably going to be pretty much doing the same thing for the rest of the set. But I think like there's things that you can honestly tell from Jeremiah just plain and obvious. It's just the one. And that's exactly what I was talking about with the slides. It's not so much that he's looking for a commitment to walk. It's more so that he's just looking for something to not be happening. And jumping at the bad ranges. I mean, okay, that time Guzman jumps at the range that we said not to, and
doesn't properly punish on the throw bait.
Yeah. And then what happens a lot is a lot of things turn into scrambles again with the jumping. I think Jeremiah just needs to get akin to walking more and just not be afraid of just like taking those steps, especially as Vega with the best walk speed in the game.
Also, it's clear that Guzman was not dealing with the walk back very well. He wasn't really calling them out with lows.
See what I mean? Like, why would you start this round walking back and forth?
Just to jump at the same exact range.
And then like, exactly. You see that happen. He got baited so hard there. And then like the block strings that he does obviously are the same. If he changed up even the block strings, honestly, he could probably open them up just a little bit more, because you establish a block string to condition people, not so much to just make yourself safe. So like jabs in this game are like just universally safe or plus. I mean, I can't think of anybody who doesn't have at least plus one jab. You know what I mean? So you can throw out a jab and you can scare someone with the idea that a block string might be coming to basically just play off of that.
So this was an example of a really good jump, actually. You gotta like. This is an example of like something that you did pretty well, and that you mixed up where you started jumping. So he has to. It's on Guzman to switch up his anti-air options. So one way to beat this is crouch fierce, but Guzman hadn't really shown that. And that I hope that's why Shadowpayoso jumped at that range, and not just because he wanted to.
Yeah, because we can play it. Because at this point, Guzman has pretty much said, okay, every time he jumps, he's at this range. I can just do this, and it's just gonna work. that jump in was good because of what Guzman was already doing. Mm-mm.
He could have killed there
Yes, he
had
could
he
have.
done the right combo.
Yep.
You got to do the single one.
So from Guzman, it's pretty much just like I think for Guzman, honestly, it's just a matter of awareness from him because it seems like he knows what he's doing. It's just that sometimes he's not aware of what could be happening, I guess. And then, actually, you know what? It just all boils down to decision making, really. I feel like for Guzman, because sometimes he just doesn't make the right decisions, and that honestly is just what kills him in the long run.
I could see that. For Jeremiah, it's more of like he needs to stop playing at that optimal range, where like it's very predictable because it's so optimal.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to start mixing up like I wouldn't say like disrespect into his play, but more like just more randomness. I want to say.
Yeah, no, just you don't want to really say randomness. I mean that actually is the perfect word for it. But it's the idea of just changing things up, right? Just like this. I haven't seen this out of him in a while. But why did you jump? Did he give you a reason to jump? You had none. So like, and then in the situation of like what he's doing right now, again, why did you jump? He didn't give you a reason to. It's just a matter of like you have to not be afraid to either change what you're doing or just walk. Like a big thing in this game, obviously, is just walking. So yeah, exactly. Do that more. Walk up.
Especially with Vega, his buns are so good.
Yeah,
in a neutral.
He could have got that command grab off 3 like block streams ago. Honestly,
the big takeaway of someone who feels like they're losing neutral is if they start jumping. And but the opposite of that is when the fact that they're so confident that they start jumping. So you really gotta like balance the two.
And then he gets killed there again because what did he do, folks? What did he do, folks? He jumped. And at this point, I really don't care how much is left. Yeah, the video's over. Great. We actually went through the whole thing. So yeah, so Jeremiah's whole thing is just his spacing is too preferred, right? Sometimes you have to go into that lack of comfort zone, and you're just like, all right, well, I'm here now. I have options here, and I'm able to expose those options. That's the whole like game plan with Vega's like great walk speed is that he has the ability. Yeah, I got it. Oh, never mind. I just stole your thunder. He has that ability with like those great walk speeds to abuse both claw and just the regular version of himself. I don't know what else it's called, but so with that, you have to be aware of like even if you're playing claw, you don't have to play the full screen away. You know what I'm saying? You can still walk up to them. You can still threaten that close range game. You have tools for that, And then also, like, if you're playing close up, again, you don't have to play at that close up range. You can basically, like, back off to a point where so, I'm not going to get into, like, the whole concept of footsies, but basically just the idea of, like, you can manipulate how they approach you by how you approach them.
Yeah, a big part of what Jeremiah is lacking in his gameplay is conditioning, I feel like. Because he's kind of just doing things without getting, like, a feel of what the reward might be or what he's looking for exactly.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of just like I see monkey see monkey do. You know what I mean? Like he saw somebody do something. It's like, okay, this is good for a block string. Let me do it as a block string. Done. Or this is good as a combo or an Oki setup. Let me do this. Or this is good for spacing and it nets me the best combo possible. Let me do this. He doesn't decide like, okay, what if I did this instead? And what could I get out of that in lieu of this,
Another thing is, let's see. Jeremiah needs to. I don't know actually. I forgot. I lost train of thought.
It happens. So like I think what Guzman needs to do is honestly at this point for Guzman, I feel like his thing is just like playing matches, see how things build up, see how one decision leads into another, because he's really good at like matchup knowledge and how to respond to things, but it's not always the optimal decision. And because it's not always the optimal decision, he doesn't always win because of that, right? Sometimes, like, this works, great, it worked, but what did you get out of that, right? The next thing after that, that next part is lacking because of what you initially chose there. So it's kind of just like it's you have to play more chess. Think like, if I move my pawn here, what's he gonna do next?
Yeah, something I noticed about Guzman's gameplay is that he doesn't particularly like scrambles, and
Hmm.
scrambles and his defense are very bad for Ed. But sometimes you just gotta like see what the opponent is doing on those scrambles. If they're not really posing a threat, there's no real reason to DP. But yeah, sometimes you just gotta like see and sit and observe what they're doing on these scramble situations.
And then another thing from Jeremiah is just like a thing that I like about Jeremiah is that he's very consistent in what he does. But a thing that I don't like about Jeremiah is that he's very consistent in what he does. So sometimes, obviously he's playing at the range that he likes so much, and we've already talked about this. But the thing about also that I don't like is that when he gets to a certain health range, it's very obvious that he's shaky, and he'll go to V reversal a lot. He'll go to jumping a lot. He'll go to basically just saying like, okay, now I remember every defensive option that I should have had 30 seconds ago. And actually going to using all those at once instead of spacing them out throughout the match, saying, okay, if I use this here, I have this later. And if I use this here, obviously I can counter what he's doing right now and then move on from there. Well, I think that's pretty much good. And I also think we've been talking for like a good 30, 35 minutes. So try to cut it short a little bit next time. But I think we did fine this time. See how it goes later on. This obviously was a test run. So I think we did pretty well here. Just refine it and clean it up. See how it goes.
Sounds good.
If anybody, obviously, if we put this on YouTube, thanks for watching, guys. Leave any comments about how we should try to fix this up. If there's anything that you don't like, if there's anything that you do like, any feedback helps. This is coming from anybody in the community, anybody who's in the match. Period. Thanks, guys.
Yep.